Endurance Trader here, checking in with your stock watch list for Wednesday, November 18th. Starting out with a look at SPY, we're still just consolidating in this range between 350 and 365 all-time highs. Today we put in a green spinning top doji, so not a lot of clear decision on where we're going to go next. If we do pull back below Tuesday's low of 358.34, we do have a pretty big pocket of no support in here, so something to keep in mind. Looking at our tickers, we're going to start out with the short entries. We have BABA, which closed today just below the 236 fib level at 257.46, and from there, zooming out, we don't have a whole lot of support until this August area of consolidation. It's a bit clearer on the weekly chart, in the 240 range. So if we do open below Tuesday's low, we have about a 4% pocket until any nearby support. Next up, we have QDEL. And this one has been on the list for a few days. We've been watching a potential bear flag here on the daily. And while we did put in a green candle today, we've really just closed this mini gap here and then dumped back down into the 190s. So not a lot of strength from the bulls. And on this one, I'll be looking for a break below 187.50. That's kind of the key level, Monday's low for me. And then from there, we have about 4.5% to move until we hit 200-day moving average support, which has held up as support pretty well in the past, so something to keep an eye on. Next up, we have Netflix, another one we've been scouting for a while now, with this double top here at 575. Today we bounced, we went up and bounced off of the 20-day moving average as resistance and closed near the low a day. So I'll be looking at a break of Monday's low here at 477.30. And then from there we have about a 3% pocket to move. And if we do make our way down towards the 458 range, I'll be looking for a break of that 458 level to confirm our double top. Next up, we have FSLY. Now we're getting into our short or long names here. FSLY, we put in a topping tail candle today just below last week's high of 80.66. So as a bull, you could argue we're kind of basing out here above the 200-day moving average. And within the last few days, we just broke above the 20-day moving average. So bulls are looking to build some momentum here. So if we break above 80.66 is the key level for me, we have a nice 6.5–7% pocket until we hit 50 and 100-day moving average resistance, which is really our only major resistance in sight. As a bear, we're still in a overall downtrend on the weekly, and you could call this a potential bear flag. And bears are hoping that this is a double top right here. So if I was looking for a bearish entry, I'd be looking for a break below Tuesday's low of 76, and then from there we have about 4% until 20-day moving average and pivot support. Next up, Zoom, another name we've been keeping an eye on. So we put in a stubby spinning top candle on Tuesday, indicating not a lot of confidence in either direction. And as a bull, I'm looking to call Monday here our higher low relative to this dump at 366.28, and we held above the 100-day moving average. So I'll be looking to continue our bounce above 411.50, and from there we have 5.5% pocket until our pivot resistance of 435.75. As a bear, I'm looking for some pre-market weakness and a break below the Tuesday low of day, and then from there we have about 5% to move until our pivot support and hitting the 100-day moving average here. Next up we have DKNG, and we had a big green candle on DKNG on Tuesday, and we closed just pennies below the 50-day moving average. As a bull, I'm looking for a clean break above Tuesday's high of day at 46.83, and then from there we don't have a whole lot of resistance until this, about 12% really, until this pivot resistance here back in mid-October. As a bear, I'm looking for a rejection of, well, there's two potential entries if you're going bearish on this name. One potential is you can see a rejection off of the 46.83 level and the 50-day moving average. And then from there we can retrace all the way 7.5% down until low of day support here at 43.25. Another potential entry, if we have pre-market weakness, we could be looking closer to the Tuesday lows, and if we break below the Tuesday low of 43.25, we have a little mini gap fill here and then no resistance or no support until this little pivot and moving average support about 5.5% away. So there's a few potential plays for DKNG. KSS had a big green candle today, all the way up to the just pennies above the COVID bounce here in June of 29.34. We closed 8 pennies above that. And as a bull, I'm looking for a clean break above 29.42, and from there, sky's the limit. We don't have any real major resistance in sight. And as a bear, I'm looking for a rejection of 29.42 or somewhere thereabout, and we basically have no support from this move, no consolidation, so I'll be looking, we have really a 7.5% pocket before this little pivot resistance here. It's the nearest resistance I see, unless you want to pull up the intraday chart. Yeah, and even then, not a whole lot of potential support levels. All right, looking at our longs now, I'll start out with TWLO. This is a name that's been in a broader uptrend, and we just kind of look to be consolidating here and basing out after this dip. And today we closed just pennies above the 20-day moving average, and I'm looking for a break above 291.01, and then from there we have a big 8% pocket until our next pivot resistance. Next up we have QCOM. This is one we've been watching for a bear flag or bull flag on the daily chart, and we really just consolidated today below the confirmation levels of 150.55. So I'll be looking for a break above 150.55 into blue sky breakout all-time high territory. Next up we have Run, one of our solar names that's had a big run up and a pullback, and pull up the weekly chart, we're really looking at a potential bull flag here. So it looks to be basing out here above the 100-day moving average, and today we had a big strong green candle pushing us above the 20-day moving average, and I'll be looking for a break above the Tuesday high of day at 59.10, and then from there we have about 4% to move until 100, or it was a 50-day moving average, and we have a little gap to fill here as well. Next up we have PTON, and this is one we were scouting. We were actually taking shorts off of earlier this week and last week, looking at a potential daily bear flag here. But bears have not been getting a whole lot of momentum, and we have to keep in mind on the weekly chart we're really looking at a bull flag here potentially. So any bearish weakness I expect the bulls to be pretty confident with, and today we put in a green tailing candle, bottoming and tail candle, and I'll be looking for a break above 102.78. And we have basically no resistance until the 50-day moving average, which is about 6% away. Next up we have EXPE. This one we gapped up last week, and we've just been consolidating since then. And I'm looking at the 4-hour chart for a potential cup and handle play here into all-time high territory. So is that all-time high? No, not all-time high, but high of this last few weeks. So I'll be looking for that to confirm. I'll look for a break above 123.78, Tuesday's high. And then from there we have about 4% until this little pivot resistance. And if that breaks, then we could look for that cup and handle to confirm above 130.57. That's all I got for today, guys. If you have any questions, post them below. Get at me on Reddit. Get at me on Twitter. Be sure to subscribe and follow me wherever you are on social media. Have a great Wednesday. Trade by your rules. Get out there and crush it.